Meeting is live, gentlemen.
Okay. Calling to order the meeting of the Public Safety Committee. Gary, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I will.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gary. Okay, Adam, would you like to do the roll call?
Yes, sir. Let's see, we'll start Captain Benfield.
Present, sir.
Right. I did speak with Captain Malott. He will not be joining us. They're a little understaffed today. And Captain or Fire Chief Capobianco will also not be with us today. Let's see, Committee Member Leffler.
Aye.
Committee Member Walsh.
Aye, here.
Vice Chair Janis.
Here.
And Chair Bercuda.
Here. Very good. We're going to take out of order item number 4, which is a presentation, and we're going to postpone it until Mr. Zabi. Oh, guess what? Dad, you're here.
Hello, sir.
Are you prepared at this time to address us? Let me introduce you to the crew here. All right. Currently, Zayed Mazboti is the Deputy Public Works Director for the City of San Clemente and has 34 years of public and private experience in the field of engineering, construction management, and public works. He holds a graduate degree in business administration from the California Southern University and is a registered civil engineer and diplomat in water resources engineering. Zayed has developed his disaster and emergency management experience firsthand during the Civil War in Lebanon. Zayed is a trainer for the Office of Emergency Service California and is a past chair of a California Emergency Preparedness for the American Society of Civil Engineers. Additionally, Zayed also directs emergency planning for the City of San Clemente, which also includes Community Emergency Response Team, which is CERT, the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Services, RACES, the San Onofre Nuclear Generation Station, SONGS, decommissioning, and tsunami preparation and preparedness. Welcome, Zayed.
Thanks, sir. So I will try to share my screen. Adam tells me host disabled participants. So can you allow me to share my screen?
Please.
All right.
Go ahead, Ziad.
All right, thank you. So I will start the slide. So thank you for having me, and I'm going to try to give you a little overview of some of what we do in emergency planning, and like the chair listed some of them, and some of the stuff that I'm working on. Start with the emergency planning division as a whole. So Steve Foster used to be one of our staff assigned to emergency planning, and he left us a few months ago. And because of my past experience in emergency planning, disaster response, it seems like a smooth transition for me to take over, in addition to my responsibilities managing the engineering division of the Public Works Department. So our job is to be prepared to deal with various disasters, whether they are natural disasters such as landslide, earthquakes, tsunamis, etc., or human cause, whether it's SONGS, so we work with the SONGS group and the neighboring cities, terrorism, rail accident, etc. We prepare plans, we we do drills, we prepare for incidents so that we're not caught by surprise when incidents do happen. We maintain, and I would activate the EOC by working with the city manager, and in case of a disaster, we escalate, whether an EOC could be just me dealing with a small incident, or it could be a full-blown EOC where we bring the various support groups of an EOC. We work with the various neighboring jurisdictions. I was just actually rushing now, and that's why the chair was going to delay me. I was in cyber crime training with the county and learning about what we should do to protect ourselves. And then we conduct outreach to our residents and businesses to improve their community preparedness. And then I'm going to give you some examples of some of those preparation. The chair talked about CERT. So the CERT group is the Community Emergency Response Team. This is a national program, and we have our own team in San Clemente. And so we identify opportunities for them. We do training for them. We do refresher training courses or drills. And then I have mapped the CERT volunteers so we know where we have gaps, where we may want to have some additional one. And I've recently reached out to our Orange County Sheriff Department because I realized that there's a good opportunity.
Appears we have a stall here.
Yeah, it looks like Zayed is frozen.
Yeah. And Adam, are you still with us?
Yes, and I'm trying to contact him right now. Give me 1 second.
All right.
I just spoke with Ziad. He got temporarily disconnected, and he's attempting to re-log on now.
Perfect. Okay. I'll just stand by.
Hey, Nick,
Yep.
while we're waiting, could I just move that we accept the minutes from the prior meeting and get some of this off the plate here?
I think that'd be appropriate. Thank you. Adam, you have a problem with that?
I do not. And if you would just like to move to item 5, I can take, if there's a second on that, then I will do the roll call.
Got it. And we have a second on the motion. Joe Janice?
Perfect. All right, Committee Member Leffler.
Aye.
Committee Member Walsh. I believe that was an aye. Vice Chair Janice
Aye. Sorry.
and Chair Percuda.
Yes.
All right, that passes 4-0.
Can we also maybe establish well, I guess that's an adjournment when we do the next meeting because it's already established. So is there anything else on the agenda we can move, Nick?
Well, we got to ask Adam about oral and written communications if we received anything.
For this meeting, we did not receive any written communications from the public.
Okay.
Uh,
Any reviews or recommendations that, I'm just kind of going down the list here.
Yes, we do not have any reviews or recommendations or new business that was placed on the agenda by staff. If the committee has some items they would like to discuss, then they're more than free to bring it up. And I'm getting a call from Ziad right now, so let me answer that and I will be right back with you.
Got it. Anybody have any new business?
Well, again, I guess it'd be a great time to welcome Captain Benefield in his new position and congratulate him on, congratulate him. We'll see what happens here in another couple of months and see if he thinks it's congratulations. But I know I'm very happy to see him here, and maybe if he'd like to say a couple of words, maybe to say hello. Maybe now's an appropriate time.
Sure, yeah, and thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Yeah, so far it's a good thing. I'm excited to be here. San Clemente is a great town. We have great people on the sheriff's side, and I'm looking forward to get to know the community. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good move. You know, it's new for me, so that's always a good opportunity to kind of learn and grow professionally. And so far, so good. I expect good things out of the future here in San Clemente.
And if you could share also, Captain, about where you came from and what your responsibilities were, because I think it's one of the most exciting assignments. And if I were a sheriff, I would have wanted to work your last assignment.
Yeah, my last spot was kind of like a hidden gem. I was the Southeast Operations Bureau commander, which was still a captain position, but I oversaw the unincorporated communities of Coda de Casa, Ladera Ranch, Rancho Mission Viejo, and then the canyons. And in addition to that, I had oversight of the investigative details assigned to the Southeast Division, which is, of course, my areas, Lake Forest, Mission Viejo, and Rancho Santa Margarita. I had the Sheriff's Department's South-directed enforcement team, which is a plainclothes detail. And I had the Juvenile Services Bureau, which kind of is comprised of the School Resource Officer Program countywide, the Safe Schools Initiative, and the diversion programs. We have OC GRIP and the Pride program. So I kind of oversaw a number of different things. It was really good spot.
Yeah, and since you had Ortega Highway, I imagine there was a lot of search and rescue operations that you also oversaw.
Yeah, absolutely. We assist the Forest Service up there with quite a bit of that, and our Air Support Bureau, as I'm sure you're aware, we have a number of different helicopters capable of everything from regular patrol to search and rescue, hoisting to we even have one that can carry water or retardant to assist with putting out fires. So we do quite a bit of that out there, whether it's lost or stranded hikers or bicyclists to disabled vehicles, and you name it, they go out there and kind of do it all.
Yeah, that's well, I'm excited about the fact that you came from an assignment that was really involved in a lot of proactive police work, and I think that's going to reflect here on our city, and I think that's great. Again, I'm excited and welcome to the city.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I am back on. I apologize. I lost all internet connection for some reason.
It's part of the emergency preparedness program. You got to be planned.
I guess so.
Right? Yeah.
So
Okay.
you should have, I believe Kate has the presentation. So if he can go back to the CERT support and goals, and I will go from there.
Okay. And then what you'll do is you have Kate move the slides.
That is correct. So once you see the CERT slide, actually, if you can go to the one that shows the map.
Okay.
So slide number 4.
We're up.
Excellent. So I mentioned earlier that we mapped all of the CERT members in the city. And as you can see on that map, there are some gaps. So as part of our program is to outreach to members of the community and try to have them attend CERT training and become certified. So we put stuff on our website, but because of COVID for the past year, we did not provide any COVID training, but hopefully in the next couple of months, we're going to start picking that up. Next slide, please. So on this next slide, you're going to see some of our last graduation photo. And the CERT training takes about 6 weeks period, and there's a lot of training every time we meet. They cover a variety of different topics. And in order for someone to graduate from the program, they have to attend every single class in it. Next slide, please. So on the website, I have some information that talks about some of what the mission of CERT and talking about some of what the volunteers' actions are, checking on their neighbors, dealing with small fires. So these are some of the training we do, and we do hands-on with them so that they know some basic light urban search and rescue. Somebody can provide CPR, etc. Because in a major catastrophe where the entire community is affected, they may not get, if they dial 911, they're not going to get to them real quick. Next slide, please. Some of the activities that the CERT community, some of the activities that CERT members do, they have participated in a variety of food distributions with our Marines. They've done some church, food distribution. They participated in mobile vaccination points of deployment we did at the senior center in the city. They've recently done some blood drives. When we do our Ocean Festival, they have a table and they do outreach. And then we do community presentations where some of the CERT members, maybe an HOA may invite them, etc., and they go to them. And then on August 3rd, we have our National Night Out event where police, fire, and our CERT, our races, we're all going to have table at Maxburg from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And our CERT members will be there, and they'll be distributing materials on a variety of, disasters and how to prepare a family action plan, etc. The next few slides are, some photos of some of the events. So the first set of photo include our vaccination event at our senior center. Next slide, Cade. Next slide is our one of our food distribution events that the CERT volunteers did. Next slide is part of some of the training we've done, and you can see that they are hands-on. We show them, how to do CPR, how to deal with people. And next slide. The next slide shows our CERT trailer. So we have a CERT trailer that has been organized by our CERT members with various supplies. So during a major event, we can tow that trailer and take it from point to point, to have. And we have catalog all the material that we have in it. Next slide is our most recent event. There was a blood drive that our CERT volunteers participated in, welcomed the people coming, gave them food, etc. as they finished. I want to make sure you can hear me as I'm talking, so hopefully you can still. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we're good.
All right. Thank you. The next slide is one of the projects that I'm planning on doing with our CERT. So LA County has a really, really good emergency survival guide that they did. So we're actually gonna use that as a template and develop one, for our city so that we can make it digitally available. And I'm dividing it into the different sections where different volunteers may help develop it. And then I'll, work on the whole thing, and then we'll publish it on our website, make it available to everyone. Next slide. So the summary of this guide is for residents to have, some material available to them. What happens if there's major flood? Where do we store maybe sand? Or, if there's a tsunami, how do I get out? What's the best route to take, etc. So there are a variety of tips that, maybe people may look at this guide before a major disaster so that they can find some information to help them. But in addition, we recommend that people become CERT members so that they can learn some of the goals of that survival guide. Next slide. So we have the 4 steps to prepare is to have a plan, keep some supplies, stay informed, and then get involved. And then, on our website, we have some, material that we tell people to be prepared in 5 steps: develop a family emergency plan, put together an emergency supply kit, know where to find some material. I've recently added on our website some really good material for seniors. There's also a very good website called alertwildfire.org. I don't know if any of you have been to it, but you can go on that website and it shows you cameras that show San Clemente as a whole and shows you if there are fires, where it is. It's a very good website. And then there's Alert OC. So we encourage everybody to sign up to Alert OC, and this way, if there's notifications, you get them. I live in Lake Forest, and I'm part of this. And when there were the wildfires near us here in Portola Hills, I was getting notifications for evacuation, etc. So hopefully, we're not going to have that in San Clemente, but we encourage everybody to sign up for that one. Next slide, please. So this is the emergency planning website. We kind of condensed it. There was just a lot of material, so we kind of grouped them now so that people can go to, when we had updates on COVID, we put them there. There were various emergency links. There's stuff about supply kits. We have one on volunteers. And then we have specific potential hazards that we show on the website, specific, whether it's tsunami, earthquake, etc. Next slide, I'll talk about CERT. And on the website, we have CERT, the volunteers are CERT, and the Tri-Cities Races. So both of these groups, are members of our community. They are volunteers, and I'll talk a little bit about each. So the CERT here, again, I talk about, these here, I'm showing you more about what we have on the website and what we tell the community. So if they go, they can click on the National CERT web page that has a lot of resources. We have a link for the CERT training program, and then we have some information about the San Clemente CERT. Next slide. In the past couple of weeks, the California Geological Survey released a new tsunami hazard map. The tsunami hazard maps, the new one was based on much, much better data that they had 20 years ago. It updated, and it reduced a little bit of our flood inundation due to tsunami in the city. By Pochi Beach, there were a few residents that would have been inundated. Now they pulled it back. Now, these maps were developed based on a 9.2 earthquake in Alaska, and if that happens, this is what we get. So this is a worst-case scenario. But part of what we do is we educate the community on, well, what is a tsunami? If you hear certain noises, or how do you know there's a tsunami? We have some signs throughout the cities that identify tsunami evacuation route. I'm working with the state to replace them. We're talking about the possibility of having some kiosks to educate the public. So anyway, so this is kind of, next slide, please, Kate. So here we show some of the evacuation route. We have a map that, that shows the different evacuation routes in the city. Next slide, please, Kate. Next slide, we had some flyer that was developed a while back. I'm going to be working on updating the flyer. So next slide, please, so that we can share it with the community at various events. those will be city-specific tsunamis. Next slide, please. So the next slide is about RACES, and this organization is maintained by radio amateur members of our community, and they have their own equipment and they power themselves. And there's a Tri-Cities group, and I believe last month you had Bill Kittlinger who did the presentations for you, and he's a member of our community here, and most of our group, and we are part of the Tri-Cities RACES. Next slide, please. So I have been working with Bill, and I believe he also did a presentation to you on the mesh that he's proposing. We like the concept. I'm kind of at the tail end of hopefully finalizing this because it provides a benefit to our RACES in case of a major disaster. So we're just working now with utilities to make sure there is no conflict with any of our facilities or it doesn't affect it. So I'll be providing you guys with an update once that is complete. And the last thing, the next slide, Kate. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is I'm working on a local road safety plan. So the states, when we apply for grants for road safety, they mandate now this local road safety plan. And this plan analyzes where we have accidents and it recommends some actions. So some accidents that take place in the city, and I'm talking about cars versus people versus bicyclists. So we analyze the data that we have, and then some of them may require some engineering solution. Some of them, such as DUI, may require local enforcement to deal with them, and some of them are just general education. And next slide, Kate. This is my last slide. So, Mr. Chair, I'll take any question any of the committee has.
Thank you, Zayed.
Hello?
I appreciate the information and all. Does anybody have any questions? Anything at all? Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, real quick. I was just curious, no matter what kind of emergency is, how's the population alerted? I remember years ago, they used to have a horn that they tested every so often for the San Onofre emergency. And so is everything done by cell phone or how's the public alerted on emergencies?
So there are various ways of notifying the community. We are part of the Alert OC system. So we work with the county emergency office to do mass notification. We also have a system called Nixle, and I'm using it, for example, now for road projects. So if you are driving by Los Mares, for example, I'm doing a lot of construction. At 4 o'clock today, a message will be going out to anybody who subscribed to that project to get updates. But also I could do mass, so I could highlight a whole area and it will send a message by phone, by text, by email to anybody within that area. And their system allows for cell phone, telephone, landline, etc. So there's a variety of ways. We could also put message boards on the roads to notify people. And then in major disasters, like for example, I talked earlier about the wildfires we had in Portola Hills, and I'm in Lake Forest. In Portola Hills, there's coordination with local law enforcement where, evacuation, they may have a black and white go with megaphones or on their, black and white to inform the public you need to evacuate. So there's a variety of ways, and then we put stuff on the website. So these are the variety of ways to reach out to the community.
All right, thank you.
Joe,
You're welcome.
you have a question?
Hi, Ziad. Joe Janis here.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm real excited about yours. You seem like a wealth of knowledge. And with us trying to rejuvenate our neighborhood watch program now, I think we're real anxious to get together with you so we could stay in contact so we don't duplicate efforts or both do the same thing. So we're really looking forward to that. Also, you talked about the races and art and stuff. We were presented that, and I talked with Bill also, and I really don't know a whole bunch about it. So I'm really glad to have you to give us a recommendation on this thing. You seem real knowledgeable about it, and I'm really glad to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I guess my internet's back.
See your smiling face. Now, I've got a question on the National Night Out thing. Is there a sign up there, or is it open to the public? Is there? Can you get a little bit more on it, please?
So the National Night Out is a national event where the public is all invited. I believe it's on our website. It's at Maxburg Park, and it's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have about a dozen exhibitors. So I'm coming with CERT. The RACIs will be there, and the California Office of Emergency Services, who I'm working with on the tsunami, they will have a table as well. Police and fire will be there. I think the district attorney will have a table there. So it's well publicized, and hopefully the community will come in and learn a lot from that event.
That's good. We just have to get parking. I was there yesterday afternoon, and boy, I'll tell you, that's a well-parked area.
I'm sorry, what was the date on that again?
It's August 3rd.
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, August 3rd from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Next Tuesday. Sounds like a plan, and the kids will love it too because of the equipment that will be displayed, I'm sure. Right?
Yes.
Very good. Any more questions? No questions? Thank you very much, Syed. I appreciate it. You can stick around and listen to this stuff, or you can sign off at your pleasure.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to working more with you.
Perfect. You'll be there. Very good. Unfinished business is the next on the agenda. And I have a question regarding the flock cameras. Has anybody got an update on that one? Sure like to figure that one out.
Chair Bercuda, this is Adam Atamian. The flock camera system was proposed to the council as part of their fiscal year 2022 budget, and it was accepted at I believe it was the 15 camera option at $42,500, I think was the initial cost on that. So that is in the budget, and it will be going through the process to solicit bids.
Got it.
Yeah, and more information will become available when that process is continuing.
Super. Rick, you have a question?
Yeah. Also, Adam, in addition to those 15 cameras, aren't we also going to connect the Talega cameras to the stolen vehicle system also, which will give us a few more cameras?
I believe so. I can't confirm that because I just don't remember offhand, but I do remember some discussion about that, and to the degree that that's available, that would definitely be something the city would be interested in.
Yeah, and hopefully that 15 is just a kind of a minimum that was recommended, and hopefully it'll be very, very successful, and that the agreement with the Talega ones can be put together, and we can have a combined thing and make it even better. So very good. Any other unfinished business that we have going? Nothing jumps right out. Okay. Then we'll get into anything with communications, disaster preparedness projects update. Well, I was going to mention the night out one, because that's going to be a good disaster preparedness display. So we'll have more presentations as it comes along, and I think the committee members, if you want to jump in and make presentations or have people do it, we can accommodate that also. The next is the homelessness project update. Do we have anything from Gary or Rick on that?
Yeah. Well, again, our work plan just stresses for the homeless approach by the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Really, that's what they want it. That's what they want it to be. So there's no real update on that. The update was that they moved the homeless liaison officers into the new bureau, and I don't know that any of the updates on that. Maybe Captain Benfield can let us know something about that.
Okay. Anything on the homelessness project? I know that they were disbanding that particular subcommittee, and then that just has a couple more days left before it disappears, right?
Right. Yeah, they eliminated that committee. So the last meeting we couldn't conduct because we didn't have a quorum. So suppose we were going to reschedule that in the future. So that's
Okay.
about it. I do know that there was some abatement of the homeless encampment south of Christianitos. It was scheduled to take place, and then the Caltrans has put that on hold for several weeks now, give them a chance to move out. And that's the latest I know of.
Now, we also have a new city employee, the homeless outreach person. Anything on that one?
Yes, Chair Perputa, this is Adam Matamian again. So Carly Hunter is our community outreach worker. She's been doing a phenomenal job coordinating with some outside agencies to deal with some of that Christianitos cleanup. The county is coming down to provide services and do some outreach. And when those individuals are within the city of San Clemente, they are making contact with Carly. We did a presentation at the last city council meeting about outreach and some do's and don'ts. Just some good information for the public and more contact information for Carly. We are putting together the report of the June data as far as our outreach is concerned. That wasn't available in time for the last council meeting, and we told the council that we would have that information available as soon as possible, but also before the August city council meeting, we would have the July data available as well, and we'd be available to speak about that at that time.
Okay, good. Well, we'll have to take a look at that. Any other on the homelessness project update?
I'll jump in and just say two things. Number one, again, I'm disappointed that they're removing the public safety aspect from any homeless committee. There still will be a homeless subcommittee. It'll be part of Human Affairs, and it'll be interesting to see who they select for the Human Affairs Committee this evening. One of the requirements is that at least 2 members have some kind of homeless experience, whatever that means. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually come up with on that committee that will address the homeless situation. I also want to jump in on Carly Hunter is doing a phenomenal job. A few days ago, I live in very far north San Clemente, and there was a local homeless person that's usually downtown, and they were sprawled out on the sidewalk. And I thought, well, I'm gonna have to contact Carly to let her know so she can make contact. I did some errands and came back, and Carly was sitting on the sidewalk talking to this guy. And I have no idea how she was made aware, except probably she's just driving all over the city to make contact. So I think the city made a real good hire there, and she does work with Pam to get resources and services when the people are service acceptant. So anyway, that's that. We'll see what happens with the homeless committee in the future here.
Okay, great. Thank you for your input on that one. The next item here is legislative review project. Gary, do you have anything on that one?
No, again, it's all stuff that would pertain to public safety and how it would affect San Clemente. And there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of crazy bills being floated out there right now that might affect San Clemente, but not a lot of them deal directly with the public safety. So,
okay, great. Appreciate keeping an eye for you. Good project is Joe. Do you have anything you want to add on to what does I add about the neighborhood involvement? You're muted.
No, not a whole bunch. Since we have our interviews tonight, we'll find out what's going on there. And Rick and I kind of got a plan of where we want to go, but Ziad is just, it's really great having him to come on in and talk with us about all this stuff. So it seems to me the plan is going to go this next, we'll be developing our next year's work plans and our objectives, and they're going to all go along with a web page and maybe streaming some programs for watch groups and things like that. So we got, I think we finished all the goals we had last year as far as organizing it into districts and things like that. So that's all I got. Rick, you have anything?
Yeah, I think we're in line to launch this thing. It's since it came so close. I don't think we knew. Some of us didn't know that actually our terms were up, and till like last meeting, around the last meeting. So I think we felt it's prudent, although we've got things ready to launch, that we better wait and see who's on the public safety committee to launch this, and even if it's going to be part of their work plan. So I think we're ready to go. The one thing I was going to ask Captain Benefield is I've secured a Facebook page for us to communicate with, but I'm going to need a photo of some community members and hopefully some deputies also. And I'd like to coordinate that with you. Is your phone number still the same office number that we used for Captain Manhart?
It is, yeah. The office number has not changed, so you can still reach me there.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. Well, maybe we can get a nice photo and get the web page up and then get the outreach going. And I think it'll go pretty quickly once we do all that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think a neighborhood involvement program, a neighborhood watch, absolutely wonderful. It gets together because we can fold in there that this and the races, recruitment, and all of this stuff, so that their community will be prepared for these disasters. So go for it, yeah. Okay, we got reports of the committee and staff. Here's your opportunity, Captain Benfield, to say anything you have. What's going on in the deputy world out there?
Yeah, thanks. So the sheriff has recently, in fact, it may have been yesterday or today, put out a number of talking points, and one of them I know is something that's of concern to the community, which is the body worn camera update for sheriff's deputies and members of the department. The program is going ahead. It's actually scheduled for a vote to approve, which should have been today by the Board of Supervisors. And all of the back end work on that has been completed. So assuming they approve, we're looking at almost immediate implementation and rollout of the Axon body cameras for our personnel. More than likely, you will see rollout begin next month. And that's going to start in North County. So obviously it's going to take a little bit of time to work its way down here and ensure that they can fix any bugs in the system or technical issues that we might have as we start to put this thing into work. But certainly well ahead of schedule. And I think that's good news. I think everybody's looking forward to that. And I imagine we will have them down even as far as San Clemente by the end of the year hopefully is our goal. So some positive notes there, that is coming. We are also working on evacuation maps for the public for wildland fire areas in San Clemente. And we actually just gave final approval on the design of that yesterday. So I'm not entirely sure how long the process takes from final approval until the thing is complete and ready for dissemination, but I can't imagine it'll take long. And so it's going to break the city down into zones for wildland fire, so that depending on where you live, you will be able to see what zone you live in and what your areas of ingress and egress will be during evacuations. And then of course, those can change depending on where the fire originates and what direction it's headed. But that will be mapped out, and the maps will get put out on our page. They'll get sent out to the public, and they'll be put on the city's public-facing page. And the maps will also include a QR code so that you can scan that with your phone and pull the map up on your phone, which will allow you, of course, to have it with you wherever, but to also zoom in on some of those ingress egress routes, as well as the neighborhoods, to clearly identify what zone. So we're gonna, as that rolls out, we're gonna ask that the public, please pay attention to that. So in the event of an evacuation, whether it's a warning or mandatory evacuation, you can quickly identify what neighborhoods we're talking about by the zone number. So hopefully we'll make it a more efficient process. Fentanyl continues to be an issue. There's a large rise in fentanyl deaths and fentanyl seizures in the county. That's not unique to Orange County, as you know. That's kind of occurring everywhere. And so we're continuing to monitor that, and we're seizing, obviously record amounts of that in our county. Is there any other particular questions you may have had?
Well, I've got one. How about what's the department's policy on these masks for COVID stuff for your deputies?
So we're following the CDC guidelines. Obviously, we're trying to maintain social distancing whenever possible. Deputies, it's basically there's no change. If you are vaccinated, you're not required to wear them indoors. But of course, the CDC is still recommending that if you are unvaccinated, that you continue to protect yourselves and others by wearing masks. And as far as enforcement of mask mandates, we're still under the sheriff's original guidelines, which include that we do not respond to mask violations solely. That we still need a violation of law if you're expecting deputies to come out. We can't really be the mask police, and we can't ask people whether or not they're vaccinated. That's all HIPAA protected information. Great.
Okay, swell. How about e-bikes? Any accidents that have been reported involving e-bikes?
There have been, actually. E-bikes has been quite an interesting issue since pretty much December of last year. They kind of blew up across the county and probably elsewhere, I'm sure. But I know they cause a lot of concern for residents of all of our communities with respects to, kids maybe not understanding the rules of the road or the laws pertaining to e-bikes. And maybe they do understand them, but they're not always adhering to them. And I know there's a danger factor with vehicle collisions. So we pulled our reports for San Clemente going back to the beginning of this year. And we do have about a dozen, maybe 14 traffic collision reports related to bikes. However, once we kind of dive a little deeper on those, we see that a few of them are bicycles, not e-bikes. The majority of the e-bike accidents are actually, the cause of those accidents is actually being traced back to the driver of the vehicle and not the e-bike rider. And many of them are mutual causation factors, where you could say they both kind of did something wrong, entering intersections without properly clearing or yielding. We did have one where an e-bike was at fault, ran into the back of a vehicle, and then fled the scene. So there are some things like that. We do see things where some of the e-bike riders are not wearing helmets, and of course injuries are sometimes exacerbated. But to my knowledge, I don't see any fatalities related to e-bikes since January of this year.
Great. Thank you for that information and update. Appreciate it. Any other questions for the captain? Rick?
Yeah, just real quick, Captain, to expand on that, Has there been a priority or an emphasis put on deputies stopping obviously underage kids riding e-bikes without helmets to at least educate them as to what the laws are?
Yeah, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. I've only been here like 6 days, but I know that in the area I came from, we started with kind of a social media campaign. We wanted first to educate, generally speaking, the families who are providing the bikes to these children to make sure that they understood not only the laws, but the dangers. And then from there, we transitioned into enforcements that was Sheriff's Department in cooperation with the CHP, because the unincorporated areas, CHP controls traffic in those areas. And we started making a number of stops, but they were still focused heavily on education. So we're doing a lot of warnings and to that effect. And I know that in San Clemente, they put on an e-bike rodeo or a bike rodeo here in an education effort for the public, which I think is fantastic. And I believe they have also launched some social media awareness, which we will follow up on, and we'll continue to do that. I heard rumor that they were going to begin more of an enforcement-based attitude or posture towards these things. I'm not sure. I'll have to try to pull the numbers on those to see where we stand. I know we have people making stops. I don't know if they're issuing citations or if they're more educating still at this point, but it's something that we're going to monitor closely and keep an eye out for. Our deputies, obviously, we're concerned for the public's safety, especially younger members of the public who maybe lack the benefit of experience that some of us older people have and understand the dangers of being on the roadway out there. So we're going to look for that. And when we see it, we're going to make contact with them for sure.
Yeah, I think it's effective as part of your education, sometimes even just dropping a dime to the parents and tell them, you know, hey, we've stopped your child is not wearing a helmet. And I think probably the majority of the time, the parents would be shocked that their kids weren't wearing a helmet. They're assuming that they are. And maybe that education would extend to home a little bit also.
I agree.
Well, it's personal responsibility, and when you're a youngster, even wearing a helmet but not having the strap tied is not very good either. So it's getting used to it, and we have to work on that one. Good. Any others? Seeing none, thank you, Captain Benefield. Fire Services Chief Capobianco is not with us. Adam, did the chief leave anything for us?
I did not receive anything to report on his behalf.
Got it. Okay. And similarly to for Captain Malott with Marine Safety, was there anything that was left there?
There was not.
Okay. He's got his hands tied up with good weather out there today, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're down to committee chair reports or whatever, and I don't have a whole bunch. We're all waiting on pins and needles to see what happens tonight with the oral interviews with the city council, and we'll know where we go from here on that. And so we'll just have to see. Okay, and if I'm going to have be back again, and the city council has trusted me, I'm going to continue on with my communications and disaster services bent on this, because it all relies onto piggybacks onto the neighborhood watch thing, and just wonderful stuff that's going on here. So, all right, I'll give it to Joe. Do you have anything to report?
I'm gonna have to do my stuff here.
Okay. Gary, how about you?
No, I'm good. I think I'm gonna miss those interviews tonight, though.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I'll be there.
Okay, well, we'll miss you on that one if
all right.
that's the case, Okay, Rick, do you have anything?
Just that, we do have one more meeting no matter what happens tonight. We will have an August meeting since our terms aren't up till August 31st. So I look forward to that. I'm going to be out of the state, but I'm still going to do my best to call in and be a part of that meeting. The one last thing is you were talking about Chief Capobianco. He did mention that the new truck, the big fancy truck, is in service, and they were going to make every attempt to bring that to the August 3rd Tuesday night gathering, so everybody can see it. So that'll be exciting. And besides that, yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. And I look forward to seeing you guys at our last meeting, no matter what.
So Gary, is that like resigning or what?
Not to know at this point. Let's see what happens. You know, should know on that. City staff, Adam, do you have anything for us to report?
I do not have an update for this meeting.
Okay, good. Well, Rick, do you want to close us out with the adjournment notice?
Yeah, I move that we adjourn this meeting to reconvene at our regular public safety meeting, which will be held on August 24th at 3 p.m.
Great.
I'm here. Just a second. I got to do something.
All right, it's been moved. Any second on this one?
Second.
Okay. All in favor,
Right.
raise your hand. We got it. So, all right, let's see what happens, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, guys. Maybe we'll see you later tonight.
Super.
Thank you all.
You're out, thanks, Captain.
See you at the Red Fox.
Thank you.